Double Game Week 26 is finally over, and the focus now shifts to Game Week 27, as well as the upcoming game weeks and what to do with the team. In this video, we're going to look and explore that strategy, and I'm going to give you my best views as to how to improve your teams with the transfers you have available, all the way to blank Game Week 31. Welcome to my channel. I'm your host, Femi. Let's jump into it. So Game Week 26, I finished on 71 points, and honestly, I'm really happy with how it went as I went Rice captaincy and I avoided Gabriel triple captain. For all of those who went Gabriel triple captain, it happens. I made a video on best chips to use, and triple captain is firmly the third worst chip, with wildcard and free hit the best chips and bench boost the worst. You know, ultimately, it was always tough for me to sort of envision Gabriel doing well from the perspective of 2 away games in the Premier League. And if he loses the clean sheet, right, I don't really play in the view that defenders are going to get clean sheets, because if they lose them, that's the really big source of points. Of course, DEFCON is great as it's essentially 2 free bonus points for a wide variety of players, especially defenders, as they are the ones who typically reach it the most. But ultimately, like, we're not playing Gabriel triple captain to get DEFCON points. We want to get the returns. We want to get the clean sheets. He got neither, so it really is unfortunate. But you know, we move on, and hopefully you guys can really take advantage of, if you have the wildcard chip or the free hit chip, that are really way more impactful chips, especially as we get blanks and doubles to come. So when looking at the team, we had Royce on 2 points, Ballard got DEFCON on 4, Chalaba, who will be coming out of the team shortly, with 3 points in DEFCON. No really attacking returns for him, so hopefully against Burnley he can get something there. Gabriel, you know, the game week score of 7 over 2 games, which is just not really good enough, as I already mentioned. Munoz with the 1 point, and I'm happy to hold him with the fixtures that Crystal Palace have coming up. And then Enzo, 2 points. Like Chalaba, he'll be going out of the team shortly. Bruno Fernandes with 2 points. Martinelli with a disappointing 3 points. He had great chances in both games to get a return, and unfortunately that punt did not work out. And then Rice and Semenyo really saving the game week with 14 points each. Rice obviously with 28 points on the captaincy. And then Haaland had his goal and was subbed off. I do think Haaland will be fine for Newcastle at home. Obviously, he probably needs a rest, but you know, with the run-in and now with City being so close to Arsenal, I can't really foresee him getting a rest. They're going to need his goals to catch up. So that's how the team looked. And then on the bench, you know, I benched Mane with 4 points. You know, and it just goes to that view of, again, you know, double game week, but a player who's in a bad side. You know, he had some chances, but ultimately, you know, good to put on the bench. Thiago with 2 points, Diouf with 6 points, and Dubravka with 1 point. So that's how the team looks for Game Week 26. Now let's get into my strategy for transfers and what to do with your teams as you look at out towards Game Week 31. So I've been staring at the FDR on the Premier League website for the fixtures for all the Premier League teams a little bit too much. So ultimately, I just wanted to bring you guys what my thoughts are and how really maximizing your transfers will really lead you to a lot of success as we look at the tail end of the season. So for me, I have 3 free transfers, and I'm most likely going to roll to get up to 4 free transfers for Game Week 28. Why that's important is Game Week 28 is when the fixtures start to turn for 2 teams in particular, in Brentford and Liverpool. So for the Brentford assets, you know, we all have Dango Atara on our mind, and with Burnley away in Game Week 28, it'd be such a great time to pick him up. Also, Sade comes back into play. I've also talked on this channel about Lewis Potter, who leads their team from a defensive standpoint with 3 goals. We'll see if his position gets changed with Sade coming back. But ultimately, you know, from Game Week 28, they look good, and then they don't blank in 31, which is also good. So you can have and hold them for a long period of time, because you want to maximize your transfers. You don't want to be transferring people in and out. So Brentford assets from Game Week 28 are good, and all of those names are ones I'm considering from Game Week 28, which is next week. And then for Liverpool, they have the Plum home fixture at home against West Ham in Game Week 28. So that's when Verts really comes onto my radar. Yes, you could go for him now, but for me, it's not really worth it. Forest away, battling for their life and trying to get out of the relegation fight. I don't think it's the best entry point. So just wait a week, save the transfer. And if you're on like 1 or 2 transfers, these are going to be extremely valuable. So that's how I'm looking at those 2 teams. And then the third team that really pikes my interest, and also from Game Week 28, is Fulham. They have Tottenham at home in 28. Then they have West Ham at home, and then Forest away, and then Burnley at home. Burnley at home in Game Week 31. So Fulham, I know a lot of us have Anderson. I do not, but I'm really looking at potentially taking a punt on one of their midfielders. Yes, it could completely bomb, but these are the things and these are the reasons why you would do it, is so you can really get an upside over all your people you're playing against in the mini leagues and overall in the standings, right? A lot of people aren't going to think of a Fulham mid outside of Harry Wilson. So if you pick someone else, he could, who, like a Kevin potentially or a Wobie, and if they went off for that little run, you're going to be in a great position. So that's how I'm looking at my transfers for the team. And I do have the slots available to make it work because I only have Rice and Semenyo, who I mentioned are like, for me, essentials, especially as we go down the home stretch. And I have no problem at all benching them in game week 31 should I decide to do that, because the game week 31 fixtures, if you've taken a look, aren't that great. So, maybe taking a little bit of pain there to save my transfers and to ideally come into game week 32 with 5 transfers and then the ability to use it as a mini wild card. Let me know what you guys are thinking down in the comments below, but that's currently the strategy. And then also the beauty of collecting as many transfers as possible is in the weeks prior to game week 31, 29 and 30, I can reassess to see who are the hot players then. And I can take and look at maybe another punt or two to, maximize the squad. Until I know about the doubles, I currently have a bench boost game week 30 fixture strategy, like you guys have probably heard on the channel. That is my preferred route, but we'll see how the doubles shake out. I haven't done enough thought and thinking around looking at them too much yet, but should I not like any of the doubles, and that would still be in play. And so this strategy of building up my transfers so 31 gives you that option to use bench boost in game week 30. And then also, if I don't go that route, I have transfers to use after as a mini wild card because I already played my wild card in game week 24. So just keep your transfers as long as possible is basically what I'm trying to say. And unless you see, a player you need to absolutely get on, just wait a week, because in game week 28, the fixture runs change and it looks good for so many players. All right, so with that said, let's go into how the team is lining up for game week 27. So the only positive from game week 26 is I did get my green arrow. I'm in top 5K again. I'm not really getting huge movements, but here's how the team is lining up for game week 27. And I do like my squad the way it is, which makes it such an easier call to roll. I have Royce and Ballard at home to Fulham. They may not get the clean sheet, but again, expecting DEFCONs from Ballard, as Fulham is a little bit of a better attacking side than Sunderland at home. And although they suffered their first defeat to Liverpool last week, Sunderland, they're just such a strong home team. I'm very comfortable with these two players. Chalobah, his last chance in my squad, most likely. Burnley at home. Gabriel in the North London Derby, which he does well in. Hopefully he'll get that attacking return in that game. And then Munoz with the great fixture. Wolves at home. I think Arsenal played into Wolves' hand a little bit too much. Wolves were giving the ball away so much in that first half. And so I'm really expecting Munoz to shine in this fixture at home. And then in the midfield, we have Enzo at home to Burnley, Fernandez away to Everton, which could be a sneaky good fixture for him and Man United. Rice away to Tottenham. Declan Rice, again, I mentioned it in a video I did about essential players. Just hold him. He's one of the top scoring midfielders. He had the great assist to Saka in game week 26 in the second game of the game week against Wolves. The last game that they played. So just hold him. He's producing, and I think he's going to be really counted on for Arsenal as they, try and, stay ahead of the pack for the Premier League title. And then Semenyo, if you don't have Semenyo, please consider getting him in. I think there's a price rise to get him to 8 million right now. He currently has the captain's armband that could change and go to Haaland, but he's such a great asset. And until game week 31, City have good fixtures, so he's someone to consider. And then Thiago and Haaland up front. So we'll see the news on Haaland if anything changes, but I think he's going to play. If not, on my bench, I have first sub and Martinelli, who could potentially get something in the North London Derby as he comes on as a substitute since he played the full 90 against Wolves. Mane away to Crystal Palace, and Diouf at home to Bournemouth, which is a good fixture for Diouf and West Ham. So maybe I'll think of making some final changes with him in the squad. Not sure how I'll fit him in at this present, but that's how it's looking. And then Dubravka away to Chelsea as my second goalie. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe below, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye for now.